everyone. Welcome. Day 4 of our Gut Health Challenge. And today, first of all, sorry, very rude. My name is Steve Murray. I'm the co-founder of Health Architects South Africa. And with us today is our functional medicine practitioner and physiotherapist, Jenny Hay. Welcome, Jenny. Sorry, I was already running ahead.
No problem. Thank you.
And I think that, today we're talking about the liver, and I suppose I was thinking about this. Like oral health, I don't think people really connect the dots, between the liver and the gut and gut health. But it's such a critical player, in the gut health equation. So I'm really excited to hear what you're going to share with us. So yes, I'm going to hand it over to you. Tell us all about the liver and what's going on here.
Okay. You don't want to recap on the last few days at all,
Yeah,
Steve?
yes, absolutely. I think that might just give another bit of context. So, and it does flow in the right order. So we started off on Monday looking at oral health and the connection and just making sure we understand that the gut starts in your mouth. It's one tube essentially. So we looked at oral health and the impact of poor oral health on so much more than just bad breath. And I think that's the problem. Can I just ask quickly? And do you think it would be okay if you just turn your camera off as well, and then we'll catch up with you at the end of the break. So I think that was the starting point, and really understanding that, it's almost the entrance to the cave. If you don't get the entrance clean, it's gonna be very difficult. Then on day 2, we went down to the stomach, and really the connection there, and really that's where, for me, this disconnect between what we do in functional medicine and what we're seeing in allopathic medicine really becomes evident, because the fundamental premise that we have too much stomach acid, that's what's causing this epidemic of GERD and reflux and all this kind of stuff. And fundamentally, we know that that's not the case. It's actually the opposite. So that was Tuesday. And then yesterday we spoke about the small intestine. And that's where, so we've got 2 caves, I suppose. One is the top cave and one is the bottom. And the bottom cave is where the bugs live. And that's really where our nutrients come from. So into the small intestine, we've got 100 trillion bacteria between there and the large intestine. And I think for me, the takeaway there was, in some places, there's 1 cell thickness between the sewer of your small intestine and your blood. And if we don't make sure that that is really, really working well, you can get properly sick. So if you look at what potentially could go bad in the small intestine, you've got plenty that could go real bad. And these are things that allopathic medicine has no real answers for. Things like, IBS and celiac disease and all of this kind of stuff, which are so autoimmune in nature. And then today we are going to obviously now connect another organ. And people saying, well, what's it going to do with gut health? What are you going to tell us? I remember from anatomy at university. I do remember that. I was speaking about it yesterday, and out of the depths of time came, I remember that the liver, pancreas, and the stomach are a portal or a system in the body, and that it very rarely happens that way. So it'll tell you that it's super important. So yes, that's what we've been doing for the last 3 days, and so now we're going to check in with the liver and what's going on there.
Absolutely. A very, very critically important organ. I just wanted to check, Steve, that the recording is on. Awesome. The liver is really the 4th stage of kind of going through the gut, and it's really like the washing machine of our gut. It's where everything gets cleaned up and just prepared for being used in the rest of the body. So it gets rid of all the garbage, cleans everything up, and then recirculates it so that we can start to absorb and use what is going through there.
Well, that's the washing machine. I like that. I think that's a cool analogy. That's really cool. So, I mean, how does the liver do that? What's the functions? How does it do that?
It's really got two main functions. Okay, so one is to produce bile, which is super important. It breaks down fats and toxins in the digestive tract. And the other is to detoxify blood and lymph. And those are obviously fluids that are carrying either nutrients or waste throughout the body. So it just cleans all of that up and yeah, producing the bile, which is super important.
So pretty key. You can't talk about gut health by the sounds of things without understanding the liver.
It's one of the most powerful organs in the body. Okay. It affects many areas of our health, and basically, if the liver is not working well, you're not going to have good gut health. You're not going to have good health. It can lead to things like fatty liver disease, diabetes, all kinds of other problems. So, yeah, healthy liver is absolutely essential. It really is. So I mean, there are basically 3 exit points for detoxification in the body. So 2 of these points go through the liver, and 1 of them goes through the gut. But if we don't have all 3 working together properly in harmony, that's where problems will start to happen. So, yeah, I mean, we spoke
Sorry about that.
We spoke about it briefly yesterday. How we need the right pH in the stomach to be able to trigger those reflexes in the liver and the pancreas. They come from the pH of the chyme, which is the food in the stomach, as that goes through, and if it isn't acid enough, then it doesn't trigger the release of the bile and the release of the pancreatic enzymes into the small intestine to digest and break down that food. So, yeah.
And I mean, certainly from if you think about our group, we are concerned with metabolic function, metabolic conditions. I mean, those are the 3. If you think about metabolic disease, as Dr. Rob Lustig says, it's the insulin, and we're really looking at pancreas, liver, and gut, and he speaks a lot about making sure that you protect the liver. You have to protect the liver. So even from a nutrition point of view, feeding the gut, protecting the liver, supporting the brain. So yeah, I mean, that's the pancreas is where obviously insulin is produced, and pancreas, liver, gut, all one system.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, as we spoke about, there are 2 areas that you want to be thinking about in the liver. Okay, first of all, is that bile working? Okay, are the bile ducts functioning properly, and is the bile flow working well? Is it flowing easily? If they're clogged up, then the toxins in the bile won't be able to exit properly through the gut. And a lot of people battle with that. They end up with gallstones, and they end up having their gallbladders removed, and then you're not going to have that bile anymore. So that's a big thing to think about. But yeah, so if you're not able to excrete all of those toxins from the bile, that obviously can start to cause an inflammation and infection in the liver and the gallbladder. So,
Jenny, just hold on a sec. We've lost your sound and video. Jenny, would you be able to just exit and rejoin? There we go. You're back. All right. Sorry about that. So I think we only lost a couple of sentences when your microphone was off. But yeah. Can you hear us?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine. There we go.
Okay, camera doesn't seem to be working.
All right. Okay. I'm not serious.
All right. Okay. So
so we were talking about phase, I think phases, we're talking about the bile and making, you were emphasizing how important it is, sort of one of the two processes that must be in place for the liver to be working effectively.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, obviously, if it becomes clogged up, then the toxins in the bile won't be able to exit properly through the gut. So this will cause inflammation and infection in the liver and the gallbladder, or it can certainly cause that. And yeah, I mean, that often leads to things like gallbladder removals if you're battling a lot with gallstones and stuff like that. So that isn't ideal, obviously, because that impacts on the function of the liver and the whole gut. So the difficulty is knowing whether it is working properly or not. Okay. We don't always know that, and blood tests don't always tell us well enough if how it's working. It really just tells you when it's at the extreme ends. So we'll get to that a little bit later. But one way to support your bile ducts is to drink plenty of water and herbal teas, things like dandelion, milk thistle, and turmeric. So dandelion, I mean, it's a weed. It's growing all over. It grows kind of typically in spring and in autumn. And you can go and pick it in your garden. You can go and pick it in the parks. And you can actually use every part of that plant, from the root through to the flowers, the stems, the leaves. And you can make teas with it. You can put it into salads. It is super good for your liver. It's quite bitter. And with the liver, we really are looking for like those bitter herbs. They are very good for our liver. Okay, what else? We can, also foods that are rich in choline help to support our liver. Okay, so those are things like eggs, liver, and lecithin. So choline is a nutrient that helps to dissolve fat and cholesterol in the bowel. So that's another way that we can support our gallbladder and the bile production. And then secondly, we need to support the 2 phases of detoxification in the liver. Phase 1 is where the liver activates toxins. So a toxin comes into the liver and it gets basically activated. That's phase 1. And then it becomes this intermediate metabolite, which can be super dangerous, actually. And from there, it moves into phase 2 detoxification, where it becomes bound to another molecule, and that then goes through, goes into excretion, basically, or gets excreted. So I mean,
and in phase 1, that's your antioxidants, right?
Phase 1, yes. So we can support phase 1 with antioxidants, yes, absolutely. And that would be things like vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, glutathione. All of those kind of things are good to support phase 1. It just helps prevent it. It helps protect the liver from oxidative stress and free radical damage. And then phase 2, we're really looking at our amino acids again, as we did right in the beginning, and we spoke about that product called Zymo Bulks, which is amino acids, which we can add into that drink for our stomach health. And amino acids that we need for phase 2 really are things like glycine, cysteine, taurine, and methionine. So these can help to form conjugates with the toxins, with those intermediate metabolites that I spoke about, and prepares them for elimination.
I must say, again, looking at Rob Lustig's work, this amino acid issue and the protein issue, because the liver has to break down, amino acids, break down protein. And if we buy factory farmed protein, then we end up, the liver cannot break that down effectively. And you end up with it sitting in the liver. And so it's important to make sure you get quality protein, or to make it, use a very, very good product like, Zymo Bulks, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. Protein, amino acids are the basic building blocks of many things in our body. So they just are super important, and we need to be able to absorb them well. So the other thing, there are also a lot of genetic issues when it comes to phase 1 and phase 2 in the liver. And if those processes are not properly supported, you get this imbalance. And that intermediate conjugate that I mentioned, it can be very toxic as well. So it is important for us to understand the importance of liver health and what we're doing to support that. I think that genetic testing is quite significant as well.
So is that something, and that's the reason for DNA testing, for example, in both consulting programs that we do?
It's one of the reasons that we do DNA testing. I mean, we get a lot of information out of DNA testing, much more than only this. But this is certainly, it gives us a lot of information about what's going on in the whole detox process as well. Detoxification is one of the things that we look at in terms of DNA health.
Because those are things that, if you know that stuff, it's so much more valuable for a practitioner to be able to prescribe effectively, decide which products are appropriate for that person.
Absolutely, because you know exactly how you as an individual, how your body is genetically programmed.
Yeah.
So it allows us to give very personalized information that way. We can understand from a genetic perspective, are you efficient with phase 1 or are you efficient with phase 2? Because often you'll be slow with one and maybe fast with another. And that can sometimes, if you're fast with phase 1, and slow with phase 2, then you sit with this intermediate conjugate, which is quite toxic, and it's not being eliminated quickly enough. So it's kind of floating around your body and causing a whole lot of DNA damage while it's doing that. So very important to understand that and to know how to optimize all of those different processes and the different stages in your liver. And yeah, I mean, then we can, we know how to support, do we need to support phase 1? Do we need to support phase 2? And how do we do that? What is the right strategy for you? I can't hear you.
Sorry, and we have some support elements in this challenge.
Absolutely. So a lot of that support absolutely comes through diet and lifestyle. Okay. Even the stuff that we've spoken about yesterday, eating high fiber foods, not too high in starch, not too high in sugar, and making sure that we're bringing in a variety of different fermented foods. That all helps the liver as well. So exercise is super key for detoxification of the liver. It makes a huge difference in detox. And then things like sweating, saunas, sweating outside while you're running, that kind of stuff helps with detox as well. There's many different ways that we can do this and different things that we can do. But there are certainly some products, again, that are very supportive for liver detoxification too. So I'd like to just highlight those a little bit as well. So there's a really good product called Advanced Tadka by Salcor. Okay, that helps to create really smooth flowing bile. And that's just so important to be getting rid of all those toxins that accumulate in the bile in the liver. So simple product and really good if you're looking for something for liver health. You can use it every single day. It's not a problem. And if anybody, the only issue that we have with that particular product here in South Africa is that I bring it in from the States. It's not easily accessible here. So if anybody is looking to get or use that particular product, please, I do just want to ask that you let me know. I am going to be placing an order probably within the next month. So if you would like me to get specific for you, then let me know. So the second product that we highly recommend is called MedCap's DPO. DPO stands for Dual Phase Optimizer. So the reason it's called Dual Phase Optimizer is because it's helpful for phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification. It's got a blend of different herbs and products in it that work together to move those toxins through from phase 1 into phase 2 and then down through into the gut to support phase 3. So it's useful for everyone, regardless of what your genetic potential could be. So sometimes people need more support in phase 1, phase 2, like we said, but this is great for both phases. And it really does support, especially in combination with that Tadka. It's very good to support a healthy liver on a daily basis. I lose you.
Oh, sorry, it's my fault. So, I mean, thank you. I mean, I think it is one of those one of the elements which require some real explanation of the anatomy and the physiology, which is not always something we like to do. But I'm not sure that we need to understand that. So it's critical that this that the detail here is on the table. So thank you. It's awesome. So now we're going to so the last thing that we're going to be doing between now and the end of the challenge on Friday is that we're going to be sending out a gut health questionnaire and it'll be a digital form, and we'll send it either to your email. If we have cell phone numbers, or if you're on our WhatsApp network already, we'll do that as well. But we'll be sending that by email. It's a digital form. You simply open it up, fill it out, send it back. And it'll have a little scoring table, and will give you a really, really good understanding of where you are right now with your gut health. So look out for that. That's
Are we, Steve?
Yeah.
Are we able to add that as a link into the Facebook group?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to put it in. I'm going to add it as a link as well, and obviously put it in our media and file section as well. So there'll be lots of different places that you can find it. So that will be up this morning.
Okay. So that's our challenge for you today. Okay, is to complete that questionnaire. Complete the questionnaire. You'll get a score at the end. It'll give you a score of what your gut health is, and it's really like a liver gut health axis. Because it's very difficult for us to track, and we want to be able to track, our health and our gut health. And we obviously can't be doing lab tests all the time, and we're certainly not doing it on the challenge. And even with the patients that we work with, we don't do lab tests all the time. So questionnaires are just super useful to be able to track our gut health and how that is it improving? Is it getting better, or is it getting worse? So, and this is something that you can repeat on a monthly basis, just to see, are you on the right path? Is it getting better? So yeah, so fill that out, and then post your scores. So the challenge is to post your scores into the comments in today's session, and we can see where you're at. I think Steve and I'll probably be doing ours as well. We can post those as well, and then we can take that up further from there.
Awesome. So we can start to wrap up and get started with the day. Any last words of wisdom, Jenny?
No, not. I think we've covered it nicely. Just again to reiterate, it's hard if you have to ask yourself, how's my gut feeling? That's a complicated question to answer. You don't really know.
Yeah.
And again, that's why questionnaires are just so super key to what we're doing here. So please, look for that link, complete the questionnaire, and pop your scores into the comments.
And we shall be seeing you tomorrow for the last day. Tomorrow we're dealing with large intestine, so the bottom end of the process. Excuse the pun. And we will see you all tomorrow at 8:15. Have a great day.
All right. Keep well. Bye.
Bye now.